welcome to GeekStorm. I'm Sean Hilton, owner of Comics Cubed, founder of the Kokomo Con, which is coming up on Saturday, the 12th of October, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. We're going to have Justin Nimmin, the Silver Space Ranger, as our guest of honor this year. So Power Rangers fans, come and check it out. It's a great time. Awesome cosplay with, I believe, 4 different cosplay panels going on, a costume/cosplay contest, numerous things for sale, gaming, the whole 9 yards. So it's amazing. I want to take a chance to thank our sponsors. Hot Box Pizza and Dusty's Tavern. And of course, we're taking on a few more sponsors. Today, I'm joined by my good friend and partner in many, minor crimes. Nothing that will have us doing anything but white-collar prison. My friend, Robert, is it Robert Nicholas Gray?
Sure.
Go with that. Francis Seymour Gray. We call him Nick.
Hi.
Or Patty Pants. What's up? How you
been? It's a new one. Been all right. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you since almost midnight.
I think it was closer to 1.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Yeah,
maybe it was.
Yeah, I mean, because we stayed afterwards for a bit. So.
Yeah, let's stay back to talk. So
played a little Pathfinder 1.0. Off to play a little D&D 5th edition tomorrow, and just so I can set the balance right, Pathfinder the 5th edition. There you go. Saying it that way. GM's both great. They're both here. I don't want to. It's not that. Just the game itself. I get why 5th edition is so popular right now. I really do. It is very entry level accessible. So it is not the old school boys club that I get to be a part of. I've got my executive ticket to the washroom on the upper floor of, I played just under chainmail kind of stuff. I'm old enough to have played during the Satanic Plague days and all that. But those days of number crunching and
took a lot of the math out.
They did. Well, it's what I find funny. Let's talk some gaming. What I find funny is that They simplified it for ease of entry. They took away a lot of choices, and a lot of things got...
People hate choices.
It's now been, because I was like, it seems like there was less choices, and other people tried to, it's not. Well, there was a guy who did a YouTube video that went through every single significant choice that you could make while making a character, up through like 7th level, and it was like 30 significant choices for D&D compared to 200 plus significant choices or something like that for Pathfinder. So there's definitely a wealth of options for Pathfinder.
Probably fairly comparable then to 3.5. Well,
it was a lot.
I'm curious the comparison from 3.5 to...
Well, one of the things that we're seeing in 5th edition, now that I've started kind of following it a little bit, is that simplified, yes. Power-wise, huge power creep. So we've taken the system and we've made it accessible, but then we took the power and we ramped it up. So, instead of like a D battery, it's running on 4D batteries now, which is pretty impressive. The amount of damage that lower level characters are taking and doing is impressive. The healing is vastly different. I was playing a cleric until the DM unjustly slaughtered him in front of his new friends because the new guy had to pay, and just smited him unholy like.
Seems rude.
It was, I felt a little, I was like, wow, I don't know what I do. I'm stuck. I'm trapped literally in this basement with these people who obviously have it out for me now, and this GM who's just grudge killed me for I don't know why, and now I'm like, and there's 2 vicious beasts down there. Yeah. One, I think that if you said boot too loud, might have a heart attack. Healing-wise, it's very different. I was playing a cleric and completely changed the way I would ever play a cleric in 5th edition. And all the other editions, if you got low on hit points, I would make sure to prioritize getting you healed. In 5th edition, No, I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, how close are we to not moving on? Because if we're not going to move on for just 1 hour, I'm not going to heal you. Because you are going to get free hit points back from the ether or something. And if we stop overnight, you get all your hit points back. Which I actually was like, are you sure? It was like that one meme of the kid in Africa looking at... He's like, wait, so let me get this straight. Because I'm doing the typical thing. Like, I've saved my last healing spell till the very end. We are hunkering down. We feel very safe. I'm like, all right, I've got one left, and somebody was down to like 2 points. So I'm like, I'll zap you to get you back up, and then you get whatever back in the morning. How much do they get back in the morning? All of it? No, like how many hit points, though, do they get back, All of it? Yeah, all the hit points if you sleep? Yeah. Is that like a first level thing? Like, let's say we're like, I got 85 hit points and I get down to 2, and I take a nap, and it happens to go 8 hours. It's a long
They
nap.
are truly power naps.
Yes, you like, boom, 85 hit points, all back. I'm like, clerics definitely got a little more power, but everybody got a little bit more power. But I'm just like, why do you...
So how many do you get back on a short rest?
You get it, whatever your hit die is, so like a cleric, I think, is a D8. Mm-hmm. You roll it, and then whatever comes up, it might be that +1. I'm not as sure about that. But
how many times can you take a short rest?
I think it's once per 24-hour period.
Okay. And
that was the other trick and I did look this up. The 8 hours thing is 8 hours within a 24-hour period. So if you like get up, hey, good morning, buddy, and we go out there and we slaughter some orcs. Within 30 minutes, though, we've used up all our stuff. We got overwhelmed. Boom. We're all right. We'll take another 8-hour nap. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to wait 16 hours to then take an 8-hour break to get all that stuff.
So you're early morning adventurers.
Yeah. You can be an adventurer with some moonlighting on the side. You could be an accountant or something and work out some things.
I've done everything I can do. I'm going to cobble some shoes.
Exactly. I'm going to go to my day job now. Oh, look, I carry a little pack that's got my, So it's interesting, but it definitely changes the way it goes. Now, the other thing I've noticed, though, is that you have these very powerful characters. And let's face it, you and me have min-maxed characters in every edition pretty much ever. We have been the bane of GMs. I believe that me and a buddy might be the worst characters you have ever had for the broken level. I think we broke it, then we took the broken,
fun, yes.
and then broke the broken again, and then reassembled it into some other package that just was not ever meant to exist.
Making something that was incredibly hard to GM or make any kind of combat balanced. Yeah, that was...
It was nuts. So, we've done all that, but what I see in 5th edition after looking it up is you have very powerful characters. They're all the same character. There isn't any change. They might have different hair color. They might have a different name, but it will be this race with this class with these abilities and these whatevers all the way through every time. So, like, if you want to make the Eldritch Warlock, there's 50 of them out there online, and they are the exact same carbon copy because I believe the limited choice. It just makes it so you streamline it into this sort of thing. Have you noticed that, good sir? You've been involved with 5th edition a lot more than I have. I'm new to studying it. I've been watching a lot of videos to try and figure out some different things. I don't even know the books.
I have heard what you've said, that it's there. You end up with like 2. You can be either this wizard or this wizard at the end.
It's kind of what it feels like right now.
No matter what you do, you end up with...
I mean, these are higher levels.
Yeah, maybe there's 3. They said there's like 3 kind of outcomes you can get.
But I mean, it wasn't a lot.
But the 3...
Warlock depends on your patron.
Warlock patron, okay.
If you're going just with a player's handbook, then you're going to notice a lot more. But if you start adding in things like Sanithar's Guide to Everything that has more stuff in it, then you get a little more.
Okay.
But eventually you're not looking at hugely divergent paths like you would in Pathfinder. It's more...
So what have you noticed that you like better about 5th? Is there anything you like better than 5th edition over Pathfinder 3.5?
Well, it's funny
nice
because there's a couple things. I'm not gonna like say it's all bad. My experience with it now with somebody I feel is a good GM. I played it a couple of times with other people who I at the end of it I played one session and I'm like, I don't think they were a good GM. And I don't think the adventure was good, and I don't necessarily think that the party was good. So, that was one thing. There is something, and I've actually seen one of our current characters in Pathfinder have the exact same thing. The advantage-disadvantage situation that they've created with 5th edition, I think, from what I have played so far, has been the most simplified thing that actually makes the game easier and a little bit more fun.
Okay.
So if you get into a situation and the GM decides that, yes, you've got the drop on somebody, instead of trying to figure out a chart for, I'm above them, it's slightly dark, they're on a slippery whatever, he just rolls 2d20 for anything the guy does and he has to take the worst. Okay. Or if you have an advantage against them, You got the drop on them. You're on the higher thing. You're not on a slippery slope. You get to roll 2d20 and take the higher 2. Now, both of those also apply to the bad guys. If they get the advantage on you, they could roll 2 dice and take the higher 2. We have a character in our game right now that's forcing the exact same thing in a Pathfinder game. It's the exact same thing. And every time he does it, it's enjoyable to watch. It's kind of fun. We get to see what happens. He gets a direct impact on the game that feels from my butt sitting in the seat across from a GM screen. Feels like it has meaning. It feels like it has depth, and it feels as if it has an ability to change the outcome of things. So that part I've liked quite a bit. I think that's kind of fun. As I said, the cleric to me feels ruined. Honestly, with the health system, the way it's set up to be, and I've played a lot of clerics. I enjoy playing. I enjoy just about, honestly, almost all characters. Arcane spell users are probably the thing that I have the least affinity with, just because I don't know. I mean, I've played all of them, but for whatever reason, they're too crunchy.
Well, that, and I think the Arcane, because Arcane, at least in 3.5 Pathfinder, don't come truly online to like.
Yes.
3rd or 5th.
Yeah. Usually by the time...
First 2 levels is rough for them.
If the campaign is going to fall apart, it's at the level that they finally come on that it falls apart. So you've stuck it out.
Oh, where's the red gun?
Yeah, it's like you showed up at the party 5 minutes before it ended. It's like, I'm here.
Check this out.
I got my
Check
key.
that out.
Where's everybody going with their keys? Why is everybody leaving? So... So that aspect, there's parts that are good, there's parts that are bad. It comes down to great storytelling, a good GM. All of that is fundamental for any system. That's not going to matter. And again, if you're bringing new players in, I think 5th edition is a great system to introduce people to. My hope is that people get into 5th edition, enjoy the game, and then branch out. And that's not just because I'm a Pathfinder fan and I want them to go, now check out Pathfinder. No,
there's tons of other systems.
You and me run a lot of Hollow Earth Expedition. In the past, I've run a lot of Call of Cthulhu. Never for you because I don't like you. Mike, our producer, runs a ton of games. There's such a wealth and breadth of different games out there that you can try. All kinds of different genres, from sci-fi to post-apocalyptic, to a cyberpunk, to western, to investigation, all that sort of things out there. So my hope is that this is an entry-level drug. It gets people interested, and once they get in and they've played, their first 18 months to 2 years of D&D, that they then start branching out. So
get through their first campaign, have a taste.
Yeah, so
I have liked a lot of the stuff that Wizards has been putting out. Like Dragon Heist looks super interesting. I know you have been playing through Salt Marsh, which is bold throwback. And then I didn't realize it, but is it Tomb Annihilation? Is that the rebranded Undermount?
No, Tomb of Annihilation is just Tomb of Annihilation.
Okay.
Tomb of Annihilation has been done in like every single version ever, I want to say.
That one I don't remember then.
Tomb of Annihilation's
Temple
of Elemental Evil,
That's
Tomb of Annihilation, Undermountain. Those 3, I think, have probably been redone in every edition ever made. They're super popular,
I think
and I enjoy them quite a bit.
Castle Ravenloft has.
Yes, and I make no qualms about it. Like, I'd already had 2 bad experiences with 5th edition. It wasn't until Mike was going to run it, and I'm like, well, I've played a couple things Mike's run. I really like his style, and I loved running as a GM Salt Marsh. I've run it 2 or 3 times, but I don't think I ever got to play in it. So it was a chance to play in something that I truly, really, really enjoy. And it was a great time. I enjoyed all the aspects of the first portion of the adventure, right up until I was slaughtered in just a cruel, horrible manner. But
Boatsman.
You
get a little choked up. That's okay.
Yes, having run it so many times as a GM, you need to balance that, because I know a lot of things that are about to happen, but I also have my own play style, which was very new to his group. I'm a methodical, think before you leap, cautious kind of player, and his group has got a Leroy Jenkins in it, and it makes it fun and exciting. But on the other hand, I'm like, hey, we should possibly, and here he goes, and I'm like, and he's getting, yeah. Hey, you're gonna rush here and help me? No, you did the dumb thing. Now you suffer the dumb thing. So now I'm going to play a new character, and so I have to make sure I switch up the personality. The old guy was not a very good guy. He was an old, curmudgeon-y dwarf who came off like the "get the hell off my lawn, I don't like you kids." Right before I died, I had to scald another character in game, and at one point there was a scene shift, and I'm like, no, we haven't finished this yet, and we finished the scalding of the player. And I'm like, no, I understand that you guys are talking about these past groups that you've played in and how this other guy did this other crap and a lot of stealing from the party kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's not going to happen on my watch. I'm not going to let you just steal from me. Literally in front. Well, you didn't see that. No, you literally did it right in front of my face. You screamed really loud. I came to save you, and then you did it. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So, yeah, but good time. Salt Marsh, great adventure. If you haven't run it yet and you want a classic kind of a feel, the problem that I see, and I don't know if I haven't talked to Mike about the mechanics of it, is it's based on a first edition module from
which are deadly.
And it was the first UK version of a module that was specifically done by UK creators for official release with TSR. But yes, the first edition stuff was super freaking deadly. You know, you're constantly in a fight for your life. But back then, players were trained to, as part of your equipment, take a 10-foot pole. I mean, I'm not joking. It was like something that was on the list of like almost every character. You had a 10-foot pole to try and protect yourself. You knew that after just a fight or two, stop. Let's hunker back, gear up, throw out the watches. We need to take a break. But newer players have been, because of the way the games are designed, have been taught to, you can go, because there'll be a natural break designed in the game which you will understand and know, or you can finish off a whole level or something in one go. I have not noticed in 5th and even in Pathfinder, both of them have a bad habit of kind of coaxing players into what it should be unsafe practices of continuing far past when they should have stopped for the day to rest, to gain back the assets that they have. And in this one, I know. I'm like, everything you open could kill you and eat your face off. And so the party was just go. And I'm like, we need to stop and take a rest. Well, you know, and what my GM style is, that rest can be, all right, we took an 8 hours, whatever, and we're done. We're back 2 seconds later. But some of the characters like, well, I'm absolutely full. Well, yes, you're absolutely full because everybody else drained their assets to keep you absolutely full. So we're still going. All right, well, good luck with that. So I don't know, is the mechanics for all the stuff that goes on in the 5th edition Salt Marsh as deadly, or has it been toned down to go with the style of play that's been generated? Like, is it within the realm of a group of 5 to 6 players clearing out the entire haunted house and dealing with the pirate infestation in one go, in just one night kind of thing?
That'd be rough.
Would it be?
Yeah, it's still very deadly.
Yeah.
But also,
You died.
it's still a whole.
Well, I didn't die until like the 3rd or 4th session.
His largely was
yeah.
really just a single bad die roll.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well,
something to save him, to stabilize him, and
yes,
2 bad die rolls.
Yeah. I would say, and that's another thing I didn't like, which is funny because it actually, I think, makes it a little more deadly, is instead of going to your negative constitution or negative 10, whichever one your edition chooses, when you die in a lot of these games, you don't die until you get to a negative. The old edition used to be like negative 10. Yeah. You got to negative 10, then you died. And the newer editions, you got to like your negative constitution, which is a score that builds up your character.
Yep.
And then you die. And this, it's basically the best out of 3 saves.
Once you're below 0?
Period, yeah.
Okay.
0 at 0.
At 0 and down?
Yes, at 0, it doesn't matter. I don't think it's even negative. I think it's at 0. You don't go to negatives anymore. So you could get hit, I'm under the impression, for 5,000 points of meteor damage.
And it
now,
doesn't...
there might be some rule, I guess,
There's
where...
an instant death.
Is there?
So much damage, you're done.
Oh, so...
Okay, so there is an instant death. But the typical death is now you go whatever, you're down, and you start making a roll. And it's basically a death save. But
Save versus death.
You
Brought it back.
You have to make 3 before you fail 3 kind of a situation. So you're just basically, there is no, I don't know, I didn't enjoy that.
So does it reset every time? So is it I make 1, or is it just the first of 3? First of 3.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, as soon as you made the 3, I'm under the impression it wipes it all away.
So, the match
if you were to go down
times.
2 minutes later,
Yeah.
it starts all over again fresh. So, but if you roll a nat 1, that counts as 2 failures, and if you roll a nat 20, that counts as 2 successes. Well, my very first roll was a nat 1, so I start off out of the game immediately with 2 out of my 3 boxes checked. And
So minimum you're rolling is twice,
yes, because you
and
could
the
roll,
maximum
you
you're
could-
rolling is 5 times.
Yes,
Math. See, first edition taught me math.
yes. So, yeah.
All right.
Good stuff. All right. I think that's our any other gaming news we need to talk about.
I mean, I'll talk about gaming all day.
Oh, shit.
I like
There's
that,
talk of a sub-channel. So we talk about what happened and how last night the monk rogue tried to get over on the poor halfling rogue. Thought he was going to be better than him. Tried to cheat 3 different times. Had to shut the GM down for cheating. Like, knock it off. What? I can't do that. He can't do that.
You prevailed.
It did. Luckily. As it should have been. The good guys won. The GM, I don't know if the GM liked how fast the bad guys got handled by the good guys for once. I think it was all going well until it was like, holy cow, that's going really, really fast. And for once, it really was just due to sheer luck that it was going that way. I don't think it was an overpowered situation. I think it was just sheer dumb luck, and that he, because of a roll that the misfortune thing which caused him to do the 2, he ended up not being able to do what I do all the time.
Yeah.
Because if I had to roll 2 dice, the chances are, as we know, GM rolls more dice than anybody. That's why you constantly hear him crit, because he's just physically rolling more dice. It's going to happen. But he's also going to roll a lot more 1s because he's also rolling a lot more dice. So, yeah, that worked out pretty well.
Some big things in comics.
There is? Hey, what do you got?
Well, let's see.
I love comics.
Well, spoiler. If you
Hey,
haven't
let's
heard
go. Dude, just a second. There's gotta be like a break thing where we go.
It's like a white.
Comics, and there's like a thing, and then Mike would say, "Well, now here's where you put," and we just like do our own intro. Okay, time for comics, kids.
So it's the
Hey, kids, comics.
Hey. So Carnage book is out.
Absolute carnage.
Absolute Carnage. He's taking over people, like trying to go over things. Infect them with the his. I forget what he's calling it. His Carnage. It's just like symbiote. He had
symbiote serum. I don't know.
I forget what he has some name that he has.
No, like, Carnage is something disgusting.
Yeah, he makes
it's symbiote
many
juice.
like Carnages that he can control, and Cassidy has him as Carnage back. Have you been reading it?
I'm not, but I'm not a big symbiote fan. I mean, I read a lot of comics. I keep up on Spidey, but I gotta admit, the symbiotes are huge. The symbiote is Venom and Carnage. Those creatures infect a human host, kind of a deal, and they're called symbiotes. It's been around since Amazing Spider-Man 299, Secret Wars number 8.
Yeah. Which I think they're retro.
Which Secret Wars number 8. Copy at Comics Cube, located at 121 East Sycamore. You can pick that up.
Do you have the whole run?
I have Secret Wars number 1 through 12.
Okay.
And Secret Wars 2, the entire run of that. So you can buy them both.
Wow.
Have both series and get the first appearance of the symbiote, which becomes Venom, which is a big book. It's muchly sought after.
It is. It's a good one.
It is good. I love the original Secret Wars.
The original Secret Wars is a great series, but
it's funny because we're talking about Secret Wars and we're in the middle of a toy store, which is the whole reason that book exists.
Oh, yeah.
So, Secret Wars was created by Marvel Comics as a 12-issue miniseries where all the good guys and all the bad guys were put on a planet that was made of other portions of all the planets.
Yeah.
So, from all across the universe to make Battle Planet or Battle World and force fight each other. Well, it came down to it. It was Jim Shooter wanted to get toy sales. So he'd gone to the toy people like, yeah, there's nothing really going on that we don't want to... we don't. Can you imagine in today's day and age going to the toy shelves and not being like superhero toys? But back then, like nobody wanted to do action figures. He wanted to get in on the 3.5 Star Wars sized action figures in the early '80s, and nobody wanted to license Marvel's stuff for toys. So he goes, well,
this
before
is
you
crazy
say no,
thinking about, but
yeah, he goes, before you say no, you need to know you would be the first ones to get the exclusive rights to make the Black Spider-Man costume. And they're like, what? He goes, yeah, for the first time since he was created in 1963, he's going to have a significant change. The costume is going to be black.
It's not just going to make the webbing's going to be different.
Yeah,
slightly different.
They've done little things to him all throughout that time where artists would take their stuff. He had some webs under his arms once in a while, different things. But this was a significant, crazy change. So that's what actually got the series made, was they finally go, yeah, we'll do that license. And they did make that version of the character, and he's still quite popular.
I have, not have, but I did have the because those action figures weren't fully posable.
No,
like their knees didn't bend.
They were your Star Wars figures.
Their legs moved and their arms moved. And
I don't even know if their heads moved.
I don't remember that. I remember just you can move their legs and move.
Yeah, and they came with shields. They all came
with
a shield.
I guess I did. I forgot that.
They had like a fake hologram on them that refracted with the thing you put it in, so you could do 2 different scenes. But that's where it all came from.
I did have the Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's a great figure. And the Wolverine was great. Wolverine and the Spider-Man were probably the two most popular because they looked so good.
I think I had the Cap too.
Cap looked really good too. He was well painted. His figure looked good. So if you're ever looking for that kind of thing, check out the finest toy store in all of the world, Kokomo's very own Kokomo Toys and Collectibles.
You built the anticipation there.
Yeah, anticipation.
Yeah.
Patient.
But yeah, Carnage. You said you had been reading the Fantastic Four, though. But
yeah, I love the Fantastic Four. I'm a little behind right now, but I love the first 11. I think we're up to issue 13 or 14, so I have a little stack of comics to catch back up on.
The thing I talked to you about last night that I heard happened that I was real confused with.
Hulk and Thing have another fight?
Hulk and Thing apparently have a fight, and it was apparently a big deal that his rocky outer shell was cracked and they were revealed. But then I was like,
it's been done before.
Wolverine and him had a fight, and that was a very iconic image. It was him slashing the Thing's face and cutting it open. So I'm like, I guess they showed it in more than one quick panel. I think maybe they had, maybe that's the thing that's so big is he's pink and gooey on the inside.
Which is sad because Wolverine and the Thing teamed up in the Contest of Champions back right before, like a year or two before the Secret Wars, where they were on the same team to get a golden piece of the globe to save the world.
Yeah.
And so they'd met, they knew each other. And it hurts to see that these old two teammates from the Contest Champions
I think Hulk and
couldn't make it out.
Hulk and Thing met each other.
Oh, they fought. They fought several times.
Banner, but
classic fights between them. Yeah, that's Lee Kirby kind of just classic awesomeness there. So they've met over the years, and I mean, the truth is, you're not going to beat the Hulk.
No,
Hulk is always
punching you so hard. Like he's rock. I mean, the Thing's not like adamantium covered.
Yeah,
it's
one of those deals where it's a situation where the unstoppable object and the impenetrable whatever, and the Hulk's super freaking strong. That's what he's about. And the thing about the Thing is it's heart.
Yeah.
It's his pride, it's his heart. So even though the Hulk is eventually going to beat him and kill him, if it really came down to it, the Thing is never going to quit. He is going to fight until his heart explodes in his chest, or he is beat to such a massive pulp that he is just a liquefied goo. Yeah. He is not going to stop. So, classic stuff. I don't know why they're making such a big deal out of his carcass being cracked like that.
I saw 3 different articles bringing it up. I was like,
well, I'll definitely have to read it and see if maybe there's repercussions for what happened. Because Ben Grimm just got married. That's kind of what helped kick off the new series, was he finally, got married after, 50 years or something crazy like that. So.
Yeah, he tried to have a wedding once before, didn't he?
I think so.
There was an issue or something?
Alicia Masters and him have been, on and off, and then Johnny stole her for a bit, only to find out it was really a Skrull that was hanging out with Johnny because he was into that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what he's about. So this week at Comics Cube, we got the newest issue of Usagi Yojimbo, the anamorphic samurai rabbit, one of my absolute favorites. When you say anamorphic samurai rabbit, it sounds silly. It's weird. The concept, when I first saw pictures of this when I was a kid, I'm like, I don't want to read that. That looks stupid. But as an adult, I'll read just about anything, and have fallen in love with Usagi Yojimbo.
And what makes you love it so much?
The characterization of him as a noble, wandering Ronin, is really well done. Stan Sakai, the creator, does a really good job of characterization. He does a great job of the smaller format storyline. So instead of having giant 12-part confusing soap opera-like storylines. He does 1, 2, and 3 issue storylines that usually have good closure. You feel like you've got a full story. His stuff feels as if it's very cohesive and well put together. And then there's going to be some aspects that can carry on, like personality stuff that might have happened, or if he encountered a character, he might encounter that character again if they survived the adventure later on, and they'll call upon it. But it's not like the other things where it's like in the middle of whatever, we're just getting ready to beat the overpowered rogue monk in the cellars. Then immediately afterwards, within a second, we're off to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And this, it feels like there's some times passed sometimes between the adventures, even though it's never really specified.
Yeah.
Artwork's great, and I think it's one of those things where it fits all readers. So if you were a old, jaded, cynical guy like me, it's a great book. If you're one of the Owen's age and you were to introduce your 7-year-old to it, or is he 8? Is he 7?
7.
That was right the first time. You introduce a 7-year-old to it, I think it's family friendly enough that it would appeal to them. It's one of those books that doesn't feel like it's talking down to support a child demographic, but it also doesn't feel like it's overbearing or over itself trying to hit any graphic. It's just a good story. And so I recommend it for everybody.
The first time I was ever introduced to him was through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, because he had that crossover in the, I don't know if it was ever in the any of their comics.
He's been in the comics.
Okay, it was in the cartoon in the early 90s.
Yeah,
I think it was,
and had an action. I
had the action figure.
I didn't own any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures except for Usagi because I liked him, and plus the amount of crap they gave him. He looked good.
Yeah, he had all his armor pieces. Yeah, he had a
weapons,
ton of stuff.
He's a fun character.
So
big fan of that sort of thing.
And then we have a big movie that you're excited to go see.
Can't wait to see it. Kokomo Toys has got an It toy, but this is the Tim Curry version of Pennywise, not the cigar kicking guy version of him. I'm sure he's here somewhere. But is he? Oh yeah, the bigger version's up top. But he's $125 versus my $30 Tim Curry Pennywise. Now, I would say fear-wise, this guy has definitely been updated to be more terrifying, but what I remember out of the book is probably more this Bozo style version that Tim Curry brought to the thing.
So which do you like better?
This look. Just 'cause this is much more scary.
Okay. Which movie-wise do you like?
Well, because this isn't fair to Tim Curry. Tim Curry did a great job.
Yeah.
They did a great job, but it's a TV movie.
Yeah.
So
there's only so much they could do.
It's PG-13 at most, whereas the It from the Thing is a hard R, which is much more close to what was on the page.
Yeah.
It's just flat out scarier because of the material they're able to do. This was made during, I want to say, the 80s, maybe the late 90s or the early 90s, but I think it was made in probably the late 80s would be when
it was the early 90s.
It could have been, but the technology to do the things that they do with Pennywise and the altering him and doing the hiding Easter eggs with him in the background and 1990. There we go.
Winner.
Sure, late 80s, 1990. You got me. It's just, they've advanced the technology 30 plus years. So I would say it's a superior product. But that said, I still think that the original is well worth checking out. Tim Curry's performance is great. Everybody's performance in that is actually really, really good. And check it out.
It terrifies my wife. So.
Well, she don't like clowns.
Yeah.
So
I think this is actually why.
That's cheat. No, she told me why she doesn't like clowns.
Oh, okay. So I tried to get her to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space because it teaches you how to kill clowns. That's my favorite.
How do you kill clowns from outer space?
You punch them in the nose.
Just punch them in the nose.
Which I know that is trying to be picked up. I think Sci-Fi is actually trying to buy the rights to do a new Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Really? A lot of those retro 80s style movies. I mean, Tremors keeps going. We've seen one of my favorites, Critters, has been coming back. We saw Chucky redone, not well, I guess, but it's been redone. A couple other things because we're out of time, but we're going to go over because we always do, and nobody ever stops us, so there's no punishment for it. Screw it. Time means whatever we want it to mean. Bad Boys has got a new trailer out. It's Bad Boys for Life, I believe, so we're seeing them at the Murtaugh age of Danny Glover kind of thing with some
Too old for this.
New generation. Yeah. We got the Charlie's Angels movie getting ready to drop sometime in the near future with a brand new trio of Charlie's
They haven't
Angels.
they haven't even done a trailer yet, though.
Oh yeah,
Have they?
Yeah, I've seen it at the theater.
Oh, I've not even seen the
Yeah, a
trailer.
couple times.
Maybe I have.
So that's
There's
coming
a
out.
new Birds of Prey trailer.
I've not seen a Birds of Prey trailer yet, so that must be fairly fresh.
Apparently, in movies, it's only going to be shown, and I don't have this 100% confirmed, but it's what I saw a couple people say, was that it's only going to be shown before the It.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, is it that graphic? I didn't.
That's weird.
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, I want to see it anyway, so I'll definitely want to check that out. Over on Netflix, we have got the
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal popping up, so that's on my much to-do list. And then over on Hulu, I think it's Hulu or is it Prime? We've got Carnival Row with Orlando Bloom and Prime. And I guess that's a hard PG-13 soft R.
I've seen a lot of people, both sides, whether they love it or hate it.
Okay.
So people, it seems to be either way. And several people are saying, well, it's not Game of Thrones. I'm like,
You're right.
You're right. It's not
Game of
like,
Thrones.
Nothing about that made me think that it was going to be
No, I thought I was seeing like
Game of Thrones
yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
Or even esque. So
Yeah. I'm currently just finished season 1 of Sabrina, the Netflix version, and really enjoyed that. Thought that was really, really good. We have I guess there's a Christmas special and then a season 2.
So they're doing the Doctor Who.
What's this?
They're doing Doctor Who. They have the season, and then they do a Christmas special,
Yes,
and then they
did that with Sabrina. That was really good. Speaking of Doctor Who, I just saw last night at like 2 a.m. as I was coming down from D Pathfinder,
I had the
where
same
my
problem.
character was almost unduly slaughtered again in a hallway. No good reason, just because the GM hates me.
Somebody reached out and said, "Hey, you need to whack his character."
I know who it was too. I know now you guys are teaming up.
I held back and played my guitar the whole time.
Which helped a lot. Not being facetious, I was like, and so it's funny because I'm usually the one pointing out to people, "Hey, don't forget this," and it was making me a lot more powerful. I really like that. All of a sudden, I was like, "Yeah."
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is coming out with like their season 26, which is one of the last things for the original Doctors, Sylvester McCoy. But they did up this big thing where it's Ace, who was his very young companion at the time. I don't know if she was the youngest, but she was. At the time, she was, like a teenager, anarchy style thing, and you kind of through the seasons saw her grow into a young woman, and life lessons were learned and stuff, but through Doctor Who and good stuff. Well, she is basically, and this is 30 years later, kind of a thing. It's like real time, and they're showing a background of her, and it's done up, and she's doing a talking overview kind of a thing of their adventures and all this stuff, and he eventually said he'd come back, and then you see the shadow. And Sylvester McCoy's Doctor's crown thing, his thing was he had an umbrella that had a question mark as the handle. So you see all of a sudden that shadow pop up on the window, and her old jacket, which says Ace on it, she's got like this old weird bomber jackety thing she used to wear. So she walks over and grabs it, and then they do this big preview for all the behind the scenes stuff, and it was really well done. I won't lie, it did.
So is it going to be a one shot or?
No, it's basically just they went back and
season?
redid the last old season.
Oh, okay.
And just added this little element to get you excited about it, which tricked me because I thought, are we getting a new episode with them or something, or even an audio? Because there's been a lot of audio from Big Finish.
A ton of
no, I think this really was just a well done commercial to get you psyched, and it worked. I watched those back when they originally aired a little bit. My first Doctor was the third Doctor, but I was watching those on tape. So the last season or two of Doctor Who that actually aired on television, I was able to catch some of, and that's where I got to watch some of the original. Barely can claim that I watched when it was actually aired. And he was a great Doctor. He was Sylvester McCoy's Doctor was a really interesting Doctor. He was in one instance like kind and caring, but on the other one he was a deadly kind of bastard where he would allow you to do horrible things to yourself. If you were, like some of the doctors would stop you, some of the doctors would, give you a warning. He was the tricky kind of guy that's like, here's 3 different things, and you drank the poison, and well, too bad for you. Shouldn't have done that kind of a deal. Like,
Right.
so he was an interesting guy. Whereas, 1 minute he's kind of a happy-go-lucky, grandfatherly style kind of character, and another he's kind of a devious, manipulative, mastermind kind of a character. Never necessarily bad. I mean, when bad things happen to people, they were bad people. But a more in-depth, nuanced take on the Doctor Who character from some of the earlier incarnations, in my opinion. Anything coming up that you're looking forward to in our extra long edition of Ramble Talk?
Coming up, I mean, more games.
Yeah.
I'm always excited for games, but
I get to go get a new character. I get to play a halfling rogue tomorrow.
what?
I know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I don't know if halfling rogue's a tough one for me. I'm going to have to sit down and do some notes and figure out how I'm going to play them. So, but yeah, you got a game. I've got a game I'm running Sunday coming up. So it should be good times.
Yeah. That's what I got.
That's it. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to us ramble today in a non-specific pattern about whatever popped into our minds. We greatly appreciate it. Next week, I don't know when Mike's coming back. He's on a work schedule. It takes him out for a couple weeks. So it might be a couple of weeks of non-Mike, but that's okay because the show always gets better ratings when he's not on it. So there you go. Be groovy, everybody.